Well, hello everyone. I hope you're doing really good. You deserve it. To all those who are new, welcome. To those who are returning, thank you. We love having you here. And to all those who have not yet subscribed, please click on the subscribe. Thank you very much. Today we are making a little elf. It was supposed to be cute, but it kind of got a little creepy looking because, we just because. But nonetheless, it grows on you. He gets cuter all the time when you look at him. He's a little elf helping Santa Claus or the other elves decorate trees. He's got some lights in his hands, some ornaments on the ground, and some presents to put underneath the Christmas tree. So today we are going to make this little elf. And I hope you enjoy it. It's very easy and very inexpensive to make. As I was making this, I was thinking, though, he's got the shape of the head of a Grinch. I should make a Grinch, and I think I will make a Grinch. So today we're going to start with taking two 3/4 inch dowel rods, and they're going to be 5 inches long. And then I am going to take my little some batting from the some quilt batting. And I'm going to measure it out, cut it, and now I am gluing my little rods. I'm taking the batting and wrapping it around the little rods, and I'm just hot gluing it down. I'm just going to try to see if it fits. It fits okay, so then I'm going to take a sock. I got these off of Temu. They came with both the socks and the hand thingies. They're not really gloves. I don't know what they are. But anyway, because I'm not stylish, I don't know these things. But anyway, maybe arm warmers. So anyway, now we are going to take this. We're going to glue the sock onto our dowel, and we're just going to roll it. And then when we come to the end, I'm going to make a little quick hem, and then I am going to glue it to the other side, and I'm making sure that the reds and the whites are equal, that they're not one's high and low. I'm just trying to make sure they line up. And we will do the same exact thing on the other leg. These are going to be our legs for our little elf, in case you didn't know. But I'm pretty sure you figured that out already. Okay, then I am going to shove this into that little booty. And I found out that I needed to close that at the top, at the bottom. So I'm gluing the ends together because if I don't, the stuffing and everything comes out. So, and then I push it down in. I push it down in really hard. I end up having to get like a pencil or something to help push it down because it's so tight. So I didn't glue it down. Now here I'm just gluing with hot glue, but I ended up taking it apart and gluing it with E6000, and then I put a big heavy coat of hot glue around the dowel, the bottom part of the dowel, and then I glued the stuffing and the sock to that board. And that worked out pretty good. If I were to do it again, I'd do it a little differently, but this is how I did it this time. If I do the Grinch, I'll show you how I will do it, how a easier and better way to do it. But after I make sure they're secure, I glue my, um, what is it called? the batting and the thing and the sock to the wood. Now this is the body, and it's in the thing. It's 6 inches in the picture, but it's I actually cut an inch off, so it's about 5 inches. And I'm rolling two uh, rolls of, or two thicknesses, I'm cut two of the batting to put on. And again, I used E6000. I stuck it there, and then I just hot glued a lot around that edge because the E6000 is going to take a minute to dry. And so, but after I did do that, I did let it dry. And then I glued my, well, actually, I glued the batting down, and then I let it dry before I went on. I let the E6000 set up. Then I took another part of the sock. These socks were pretty long, so I was able to get quite a bit off of them. And now I am just gluing that to the legs. I took it around and put it over the stuffing. So this is our body. And I'm just hot gluing the socks together. And we have a body. Now we're going to make the head. This is really kind of bizarre, but I am using a ball, a little plastic ball that has been running around my house forever, and I don't have any little kids anymore, so I'm going to take and use that ball, and I'm going to wrap the batting around that ball, and I'm going to glue it on. And I'm going to go around and around to glue it on. And then I cut just a thin little strip more, and I'm going to wrap it around. And then I take, it's either a 12 or a 14-inch balloon, and it's white. After I get this all glued down, and let me tell you, when you cut the top parts off, if you grab the fat part of the balloon and stretch it, it goes around whatever you're doing a lot easier, and it doesn't take too long. So I just stuff that all in there, and then I get me some more fiber fill, and I'm just putting it in there, shoving it in there until I get it the size that looks good on my with my elf, that it kind of coincides with my elf. And right here, as I was doing this, after I got it done, I realized it's got the shape of the Grinch. I should be making a Grinch instead of an elf. So now I'm taking some fabric that I got from the dollar store, and I'm just ironing it. I end up just getting my squirt gun and spraying it to help get the wrinkles out. I'm just going to get it ironed so it's nice and smooth and unwrinkly. Okay, and then I am going to take my little elf, lay him down, kind of judge about how far I wanted. I would have made this just a little bit bigger if I would have been wise, but I'm not necessarily always the wisest person. So I just took it and I'm making it, I should have made it a little bit wide, wider. But I'm just now cutting some zigzags into, and I fold it over so I can do it so it coincides with, each side coincides with each other. And I just keep doing that till I get to the end. And then So it looks kind of like the Flintstones, how theirs is always jagged. And then I take the corners and I take the corners and I cut a slant because we're making it so it's like a vest. I hem the one edge, the edge that's not going to be the edge that's going to be seen, and I glue it together. Now, because the top part I didn't do this the way you should have done it, so I ended up cutting little slits and then gluing them together so it would be tighter around the neck than around the body. Now I'm taking a little sock, measuring how big I want my arm, and then I am going to take some glue. I'm going to cut them so there's two. You can get two out of one cutting of the sock, one portion of the sock. And then I'm going to glue the tops together and I'm going to inside them out. And then I am going to stuff it. Oh, nope. I glued the other one then. I glued the other one too and then I stuffed it. So you want to do two of these unless you want a one-armed elf. And that's up to you. But I am just stuffing it, getting it the size I want it and the thickness I want it. Then when I get that where I want it, I'm kind of out of camera, but then I take and I seal the end. Okay, now that part that we've sealed that's on the outside, you can see the seal, it's going to be the bottom. The top, the part that has the seam on the inside is going to be the shoulder. So we are going to glue that onto our elf and do that with both arms. And this one you can see a little bit better, so I just kept this one in so you could see that we're just gluing the little arms on. And now I'm gluing the vest down a little bit. Okay, now I am drawing some mittens, and then I will take these mittens, cut them out in the green, and I do not show this part, but I just took a needle and thread and sewed around the edge, hemmed to the inside of the thing. You can do this with hot glue if you want to, but I was having some issues with the hot glue in this, so I ended up just sewing it, and now I'm just stuffing it, and I'm using a little pencil to help me get the little thumb and get it really stuffed good. And then I'm going to put him on. I'm going to glue the little mitten on, the little hand on. It's kind of challenging when you first start around this little hand, but once you get going it's pretty easy. But just getting that first little glue and that first little part of the hand on is just a little bit challenging, not too terribly much. And then I do the same thing with the other hand. And now I'm taking some ribbon and I'm wrapping that ribbon between the arm and the hand. I'm going to do that on both, and I thought I cut that out where I had the I was having so many issues. There was a little gremlin loose when I was doing this, and nothing was going right. I mean, it turned out okay because as I've edited it, I'm like, wow, you can't see any of the mistakes, any of the things that went wrong. Now I'm painting my face with peach, is it peach cream? I think it's peach flesh, to be honest with you, peach flesh. And now I'm taking some little, I printed out a bunch of these little candies. And so I'm taking some of the candies now for future use. And this is how I usually do it. I don't usually do it like this. glue it down to your little cardboard first, so you only have to cut it out once. And now I'm just going to glue it down here with some glue stick. And now I'm going to cut it around, cut them off. And then when I do get them done, I put a little bit of Mod Podge on it just because, not that it's going outside or anything, but just to protect it a little bit. Okay, now I want it to have a belt, so I'm taking some Chanel pipe cleaner in black, and I'm just going around. I wanted a little thicker than the one strand, so I took two, and I just took both of them, put them around, doubled it, went around twice. And then I cut off the excess, and now I'm taking a gold tinsel Chanel pipe cleaner, and I am just making the belt buckle, and then I cut the rest off. Okay, I then take some of that, oh, I glue my buttons on first, sorry. Gonna glue my buttons on, and then I'm gonna take some of that gold Chanel because I had a little bit of cardboard sticking up from these little booties. If I wasn't in such a hurry to have gotten started, I would have taken the time and cut the excess off, but I did not do that. So instead, I am putting some little gold pipe cleaners around it to cover that up. And then I'm going to take a little gold bell and I'm going to glue it onto the bow of those little booties. And then I'm going to add some bells, gold bells, all the way around his little belt. I remember when I was a little kid and Santa Claus would come to like the little Christmas programs and things. He had a belt with bells on. So I thought this one needed bells on his belt. Okay, now I'm going to take some of that Chanel pipe cleaner and I'm going to go around the collar of that vest, or the edge of that vest. Now I'm going to paint some little cheeks on my face. I'm using a pink, candy pink, but it was a little too bright for me, so after it dried I went over it with a little dry brushing of the Peach Flash, and then I do the same with both sides. Once they get dry, I do a little dry brushing with the Peach Flash. Okay, and now I'm drawing some eyes on. My eyes are kind of what makes this thing creepy. Um, the eyes and the ears. Anyway, I draw the eyes on, and then I take my white paint and a liner brush, and I follow those lines and I fill it in with white, and I do that on both of them. You'll see that there's a little nose on here. I did that one out of cardboard, but the cardboard started curling at the top, so I ended up ripping it off and using some foam. And here I'm making a heart. This one's going to be a little heart out of foam, that pink foam, and I'm going to kind of cut it, get it all evened up and everything. And then I'm going to go over it with some Peach Flash. And I'm also, when I ripped it off, I kind of tore some of the paint off, so I'm redoing it. While that's drying, I'm painting the eyes. I'm using cool blue. My dad, my grandfather, and my great grandfather had the most gorgeous blue eyes. They looked like blue crystals. They were so beautiful. And that's what I was trying to go for. Didn't quite get it, but they're blue eyes nonetheless. Now I'm drawing a mouth. I'm using bright red, and I'm just freehanding this. Still using my liner brush. Okay, now I am taking some white and I'm highlighting over my cheeks, and I'm going to do another coat of that cool blue. Okay, now I'm taking a little faux fur and I'm just cutting the back of it, not the front, just the back, because I want my bangs. And then I glue that onto his forehead, and then I give him a little haircut. Okay, now I am painting on some eyebrows, and I'm using nutmeg brown because it's the closest brown I have to his hair. And I'm just kind of being careful with the eyebrows just not to make him look mad. And I think he doesn't look mad, so I think we're okay. Okay, now I'm taking some black and I'm using a little the point of a skewer because I just don't trust my liner brushes are getting so old, and I just don't trust them to do something so delicate and small. So I'm going to just use a skewer to go around his little eyeball to make his pupils, I mean. Making sure they kind of match the other side. And then I dot some little, put some little white on to highlight and give them their little light. And I right now am outlining it in a pen. Now, if I had a fine marker, I would use that, a fine tip marker, but I didn't have one. I only had the fat ones, and I knew that that would just make it look hideous. So I am just using a regular pen to go around the eyes and to draw eyelashes, and I do that on both eyes. Okay, now I'm taking the hat and I'm going to glue it on. I'm just going to do a little section at a time. I'm going to make a line of glue and just glue his hat down. You know, it's kind of hard with the socks because they roll. The ends roll, so I'm just kind of doing it just a little section at a time. And I'm going to take them all the way around to the back of his head. And then when I get that done, I'm just kind of pleating or bunching them together. And I'm just putting a little bit of glue in each one of the pleats. And then I glue the two sides together, or the pleats together in one big bunch, and then I glue a styrofoam ball to the end. Now I'm taking the balloon and I'm gluing it to that little stub that we have there for the neck. And I don't know what it is about this, but it reminds me of when I was a little girl and my mom combing my hair before school. I don't know if it's the way his head was or what, but I just got the biggest kick out of that. It just kept reminding me of that. And so I just glued that all the way around. And now I'm gluing a little ribbon around because he needs a scarf, and this ribbon will also help hold his head in place. We don't want him losing his head. So I'm just kind of going around it to make it. And then I'm going to just glue it down so on the sides. Now I'm cutting them, and I'm just kind of making slits and making it into a frayed edge. Now I'm just ruffling up the ends, and now I'm gluing him to a piece of wood that I got from Dollar Tree. And I am now just painting it white. Now, don't ask me why I I didn't paint it first. The reason why I didn't paint it first was because I was just gonna glue the batting on for snow. But then I got thinking, what if you can see the wood underneath the snow? So I decided to go ahead and paint it. It's kind of stupid to do it after I put the guy on, but you just have to work harder when you're dumb. Anyway, so now I got him painted. Now I cut some ears out of the foam and I painted those ears with the peach flesh. Now I'm gluing some little tiny ornaments from Dollar Tree, and now I am painting the backs of those ears. And I have an acrylic top. I actually have two. There's acrylic on the main bottom, but when I do my crafts and things, I put that other one up so that I can paint on it or whatever, and it washes off pretty easy. So sometimes I don't bother putting paper down because it'll come up pretty easy. Now I'm gluing another one down, another ornament, and now I'm taking some of that batting and I'm gluing it down, giving it a little bit of a haircut. I don't necessarily really like to glue things onto the batting because it's not a really secure glue. So the next ones I just glue to the wood and then I do the batting around. Just gluing some little presents that I got from Dollar Tree. And now I'm just gluing some more batting and snipping off the excess. And now I'm gluing some lights in his hands. He's holding the lights for whoever's decorating the tree, whether it be Santa, Mrs. Santa, or the other elves. And he's got his little ornaments there ready to decorate, and he's got his gifts to put underneath the tree. Now I'm going to glue on these funky ears, which really make him look goofy. But I guess elves kind of do look a little goofy. I glue them on, and then I take a little bit of the bright red and oh, actually, first of all, I'm taking my hot glue gun, or I'm taking my hair dryer to get all the glue strands, hairs, and globs and things off because it kind of didn't turn out as well as I had wanted it to, and I just felt like it looked messy, so I just really wanted to clean up those hairs and things because it was really driving me crazy. But he's starting to grow on me. I gotta find him a name. Okay, now I'm taking a little bit of the red and I'm just dry brushing around his ears and stuff. I want it to look like his little ears are a little bit red from the cold. I have a nephew, and when he was a little one, a little kid, his cheeks would get really, really red if he had a fever. And his mom had to take him to the doctor. He had a little ear infection or something, and the doctor says, "Look at how red his cheeks are. There's no way that kid is sick." And she had a hard time convincing the doctor that that's when he's sick is when his cheeks are red, and boy did they get red. And oh, I thought I cut this out, this second ear. It was so long I thought I cut it out so that we didn't have to you didn't have to watch two, but I'm doing both ears. And this is a little bit longer than I usually go, and I'm sorry about that. I really thought I cut that out. Okay, I just didn't feel like the cap was finished because all caps have a headband or something around him. So I'm going to take some of it's the Chanel tinsel or the pipe cleaner tinsel, and I'm just going around his head and I'm doing 2 rows of it because needed to be a little thicker. You know, he's grown on me. I'm actually thinking he's kind of cute. I'll tell you what, I was so disappointed when I was making him, but he's kind of a fun little partner in crime now. This is our little elf. Thank you so much for dropping in today, and if you watched to the end, thank you so very, very much. I know my channel is really, really small, and it's probably going to stay small for a while, but I really appreciate for those who do come in. It means a really lot to me. I'm trying to get so I can earn more money. My job is just not really good right now, so I'm hoping to get monetized so I can earn some more money and actually do something I love for once in my life. So I want to thank you so much for letting me do that and for your support. I hope you have a marvelous day, a marvelous week, and I really hope all your dreams come true because you are awesome.